Welcome to Jolly Noodle Legs Horror House. Lock the door and don't make a sound. Welcome to Jolly Noodle Legs Horror House. Once you're in, there's no way out.
Hell yeah.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at a children's folk horror series, if you will. Now it is a children's program or family entertainment program, but to me it was a folk horror. It was probably one of my early introductions to folk horror, and of course we're talking about Worzel Gummidge, which was a story about a scarecrow that came to life. Horrific, right? And nightmare fuel, if you will. And it was all based around these two young children that come to visit a family, stay on the farm there. And they meet Worzel, who's a scarecrow, and comes to life. I'll read you a little synopsis of the actual show. It says, John Pertwee, as we all know, is Doctor Who. John Pertwee stars in the Worzel Gummidge, a lovable scarecrow of Scatterbrook. That's right, Scatterbrook Farm is the farm that they go to stay on. When children John and Sue move to the countryside, they learn that life is never a dull moment with Worzel around. The relentless scarecrow dreams of life away from his post on 10-acre field, and often wanders off into mischief. And there he gets into he meets other people. He falls in love with an Aunt Sally. That, if you don't know what Aunt Sally's are a fairground sort of doll that people used to be on like a wooden pole, and people used to throw things at it to sort of turn it around to win prizes. That's called an Aunt Sally, and she's made of wood, and she comes to life. So it's all these kind of things that are quite inanimate sort of things that come to life, and it all gathers around the British sort of countryside, like a sort of village area, and the fields and forests and woodlands around there, and all these things happen. And we've also got the Crow Man, who is like this, almost like a witch, if you will, because he's the one that brings these things to life. So, and they get on very mischievous sort of like adventures. We meet some of the strange characters of the town, and all this wonderful thing. And Worzel has different heads. He can remove his head and take it off and swap it over for different heads that's given to him by the Crow Man. We meet other scarecrows. Daft Head is one of the most scariest and memorable things of my childhood. I'll try and put pictures of him up here. He absolutely petrified me when I was a young kid. He just looked so eerie. We see decapitations in there. Worzel gets his head bashed off by a Daft Head in one of the episodes, and it is fully shown. You see Worzel, his head gets knocked off, bang, and then you see him fall to the ground like this, like with no head. It's quite scary stuff. And this was a children's program, but it introduced the children to little folk tales and folk stories of little areas and farmlands that had their own little stories and their own wonderful little characters. This is why I view it as a folk horror. It spun many seasons. It ran from about 1979 to about 1981, and then it went to Australia, where we had Worzel Gummidge Down Under, which is also in this set. So this has the complete series. So shall we actually have a good look at this set so I can show you what's in it, because you might remember this from your childhood, because it was fantastic. It was a fantasy folk horror, and it was an amazing show. So let's have a deep down look at it, shall we? Yeah, so I thought rather than just talk about it, let me show you the actual set that this is out. This is on Blu-ray. It stars John Pertwee and Una Stubbs. It's called Worzel Gummidge, the combined harvest edition. And this has been out a few years now. Just give me a minute, guys. I'm just trying to get myself sorted a little bit. It's been out a few years now, and it's been released by Fabulous box set. It has 9 discs. It contains Worzel Gummidge and Worzel Gummidge Down Under, and it's been completely restored and remastered. So that is the set. So here is what it says on the back. Now I've read you the first bit. So I'll carry on what it says. It says, when wherever getting his heart broken by the creaky old fairground doll Aunt Sally, or disobeying his maker, the eccentric old crowman, Worzel is lucky to have a young friend on hand to help restore him from trouble. Based on stories of Barbara Epio Todd, Worzel Gummidge has proven to be television and ran for about 4 series, between now and then enchanting audiences of all ages. And like I said, then him and Aunt Sally went off to Australia, and we have their adventures in Australia in the Down Under series. And this box set contains over 11 hours of special features. It has a new audio commentary and cast, outtakes and interviews, etc. Audio book cancel script. So let's have a look in the set. So it comes with a booklet. It comes with a large poster of Worzel, and there's Aunt Sally, and there's the Crowman and his dog Ratter. So that's quite a nice little poster, and it also has the CD soundtrack, which contains excerpts from the soundtrack from the original series and from Down Under on CD, which is really cool. So we have the main series here, which is also the poster. It's a lovely set. It does come with a set of this one's on 5 CDs, which contains all the 4 series. This one's on 4 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's got the season breakdown in there. This is the only weird thing I think about this set, is that it has the season week breakdown of that in there, but on here it doesn't. That one comes in the book. So why don't they just put both of the breakdowns in the book? It's a bit strange. But this is the little book which just goes through the series breakdown of Worzel Gummidge. Hopefully I've put a few clips on this for you so you can see it. And I'll try and put a couple of pictures on Daft Head so you can see how scary he was. We've even got some behind the scene photos of John Pertwee getting his makeup done there as Worzel. So this gives you a breakdown of each series and a little synopsis, and the Christmas special, a cup of tea and a slice of cake, which is also on disc 5. Very, very cool. So each disc has a series on it. Disc 1, 2, 3 and 4, and disc 5 is the special. And then we got like a little breakdown of the people that starred in it, a restoration note. So it's quite a nice little book. It's quite a nice little set, but it's not cheap now, guys. I've had this when it came out. I just never really got around to watching it or bringing it to my channel. But it's quite expensive now. I've seen the Blu-ray. It doesn't go for easy money. I think it's out of print, but I think you can still pick up the DVD version. But this is the Blu-ray. Anyway, that is a closer look at the series of Worzel Gummidge. Yes, I thought I might as well give you a little look. I was just going to talk about it and go through some of the things about it. So I thought, let's give you a little look at the actual series that is available. There was a remake done, which I haven't got, and I do want, and because it was made by the wonderful and incredibly talented Mackenzie Crook. He wrote the remake and he starred as Worzel Gummidge in it. I'd like to get hold of that, but that's only available on one disc, so that's not going to be too difficult to pick up. I think it was made as a special, like a Christmas kind of special, and I don't think they actually made a full series of it. I think it just runs like a film, so that's really cool. I will pick that up and I might review that on my channel. But yes, so many things happen in this film that's quite eerie and scary. Like, say, you get beheadings, you get head removal. It's almost like body horror, if you will, because a lot of the time he gets his stuff, his straw pulled out of him, and he has to get restuffed, and he also gets set on fire at times and things like this. It's a very quite a scary program for kids. When we used to watch it, I was always a little set back and unnerved by it. There was always something about it that was a little bit unnerving, and it was always a little bit unsettling to watch, because although it's a beautiful, countryside environment with these little villages where it's filmed, and the fields and stuff, which gives it that real folk horror sort of feel to it, but it was kind of quite unnerving and unsettling. It made you question these people in these villages. Are they all right, or they're a little bit, different? And I think they were in this, and that also brings you a little bit like the Wicker Man, where the characters of that town were a little bit offish and not normal, and they're a bit like that in this as well. They're really, really cool. It's a great series to watch, and when I watch it now, I enjoy it more now as an adult than I did as a kid. So don't think you're buying a children's program. It is actually a PG, so it's parental guidance. So anything young, you're going to think, do I want my child to see this sort of thing? It actually plays out really, really cool, and does play out like a sort of young person's sort of folk horror. So that's why I'm doing a little video on it, because I love folk horror, and this is kind of like one of the roots of British folk horror, if you will, an introduction for it to young people. It's a really, really cool series. Highly recommend it. Massive shout out. Sorry about that, my video just ended just as I was gonna do it. I think my phone went off. Anyway, yeah, so it's definitely worth checking out. If you can, please do. Massive shout out to my lads. See you soon, guys.